y'all doing? Most of y'all are probably going to be asleep by the time I am doing my pre-record on this particular recipe. It is actually 1:06 in the morning, and y'all know I'm from down south. I'm in Georgia, Savannah. So some of y'all are probably asleep unless you are on West Coast like California or something like that. So nevertheless, first thing I want to do is start off and tell everybody, all of my subscribers that came to my live that I did yesterday. And I had a technical issue because I did not completely log off, and my live stream went on for 3 additional hours when it was supposed to only be 2 hours. And a few of my subscribers reached out to me to tell me about it. Some of them emailed me, some of them went under old videos, and because I was ripping and running and doing a lot of errands, I didn't even know the damn thing was still going the whole time. But I appreciate my subscribers because they looked out for me. A lot of them stayed on the live the whole time, as long as they could until it came, I was able to figure out what was going on. And they looked out for me. They represented. So I definitely want to tell all my subscribers. I can't remember all of you names, and I don't want to call names because I don't know who all. Well, I can't remember who all was in there, and I don't want to single nobody out. But you know who you were, and I appreciate y'all for reaching out to me and for hanging in there while my live stream was going. That has never happened to me before. This crazy stuff happens when you go live. I promise you. I've had like 3 different incidences going on when I was actually live streaming. I actually had an incident occur where somebody's getting shot the next street over while I was live streaming. So it is very, very crazy the stuff that happens when you go live. When you pre-recording, everything is cool, calm, and collective as it is now. But again, I really want to thank my subscribers. I appreciate y'all for having your girl back and looking out for me. So again, I will be more careful. I'm glad I wasn't sleeping or planning to rob a bank or something. Because boy, if my ops, the 1 or 2 that I have, would have got that, oh honey, it would have been over. But I just want to thank y'all again. I appreciate it, and I will be more careful when something like that happens. So nevertheless, I wanted to definitely get into my topic because I thought it was very imperative that I did this particular recipe. It's been a topic I've been wanting to address because this is an issue that women, more in particularly black women, African American women, have adopted the hobby of womb hustling. And Jay Shine was the one who gave me that term. Big ups to my brother Jay Shine. If you ever hear this, or if anybody see Jay Shine hanging out in the chat room somewhere, let him know that I thought about him when he gave me that term. But I wanted to talk about when womb hustling brings hardship. And I think it's imperative that a lot of sisters who have not indulged in the womb hustling, like a lot of these young women, I think it's imperative that they are aware of what to expect if they ever were to be malicious and put themselves in this type of predicament, the consequences that they have to look forward to. And I also want to enlighten the men as well, who have become part of the gimmick, the game of womb hustling. And let me first start off by giving my definition of womb hustling for some of you who may be foreign and don't understand some of these abonnets that we be kicking here in the black YouTube sector. Womb hustling is when a woman uses her vagina to get pregnant for profit so she can gain child support. She can get assistance from the government like food stamps, welfare, housing, WIC, anything that's pertaining to helping her to be able to live the basic necessities without her not having to work and provide for herself in a way in which she is not being enabled. And that's basically what womb hustling is. Now, let's not get it twisted. This has been going on for centuries. This is nothing new under the sun. The reason why a lot of people are knowing more about it is because of social media, and because we have social media, people are more informed of these things when they've been going on for centuries. Some of y'all mamas been womb hustlers. Some of y'all great grandmamas are womb hustlers. Some of y'all don't know who your daddy is because your mother was intentionally getting knocked up from dudes who probably was sending your mom a large substantial amount of money a month. Probably never even met the dude, don't know nothing about him, but your mother knows him as a paycheck, and that was her only purpose, um, to basically um, produce a child, to produce a paycheck, and that's what it boils down to. And it's a never-ending story. You hear about these celebrities all the time. Tristan Thompson, Khloe Kardashian's, fiance for the longest. All this time, he had knocked up some. I don't know if she's Brazilian or Latina. I don't know what her race is, but she looks like another Kim Kardashian to me. But he knocked her up, tried to lie about it, and he couldn't lie about it. That's my printer, y'all. If y'all hear that noise in the background, I'm making tumblers tonight. I got a couple of orders for a company. If you guys got a company, I make tumblers for y'all companies too. You own your own hair shop. You want to give your customers a nice tumbler. You own a barber shop, guys. You own a mechanic shop. I can hook you up. But anyway, I'm gonna post these tumblers tonight on my community tab so y'all see them. But anyway, like I said, Thompson knocked up a side chick knowing he was in a relationship with Khloe Kardashian and tried to lie about it until the blood test came. And as soon as it was confirmed, um, his Brazilian beauty, she went for the juggler, of course, because that was her main ultimate goal. And like the slow, simple, low value dude that he is, even though he has all of his millions, as I tell y'all before, money cannot buy common sense. That's something you have to automatically have. Your bank account cannot help you when you get in certain situations. You have your common sense helps you. Wisdom, knowledge, and anything that your parents have instilled in you. Um, Morals. That is what protects you, not your money. Money does not protect you. Your morals do. So, nevertheless, you got Anthony Carmelo. Yeah, Carmelo Anthony. I'm always saying his name backwards. Same thing. He lost his marriage due to the fact that he knocked up some chick, and of course, when he knocked up the chick, Lala had no clue, and he tried to deny it and play crazy. And that DNA, that blood test came back, and sure enough, the little girl was his. Him and his wife Lala at the time had a son, and I'm sure it was very devastating and very embarrassing to be put in that position. And she still stayed with him for a little while. I guess worked through the Turks. Well, then comes another lady who comes out and says she has twins. Guess what? Both the twins end up being his as well. So of course, once it was verified through DNA, she went for the juggler too. And this is what these females do. We can talk about this all day. We can go back and forth. There's so many stories of this, and it's not just celebrities. Some of you may even have friends who have done this. Y'all may have a sister. Hell, your own mama probably did it, or whatever the case is. So, womb hustling is at an all-time high, and it's gotten to the point now where a lot of these side chicks, they are proud and very bigoted and very honorary of being a hoe. And it's basically because anytime they land a man that's successful, and he's so open enough and to the point to where he's willing to go raw, not wear any protection, not protect his penis, which means his penis is his life. His penis is his freedom. His penis, if he doesn't treasure it, it can get him in a lot of trouble. It's a lot of men that are in debt because of their penis. They lack discipline, and when they allow these women to sweet talk them or melt on them, you know, or these women get them in the bedroom and do all these magical tricks that um, they have an addiction for, whether if it's good head, whether if it's getting their salad tossed. If you got any children in the room, I advise you to get them out, because I am going to be a little graphic, because we are adults and we got to be raw here. I ain't got time to play with you grown men, and I ain't got time to play with you grown ladies. We all are adults. And I'm not going kindergarten, y'all. I'm not going preschool, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know how it is. A lot of these men, when they finally get these women in the bedroom, these women know this is the time for them to have to really, really get down. These groupies know whenever they're with a rapper, an entertainer, a CEO executive. Let's take it to the basic scale where us average folks are. A woman knows once she has the opportunity to get a man in her bedroom and he has a good job, he doesn't have any children, or he's married and well off. Anytime a Jezebel, because I've been calling the wrong word woman, anytime a Jezebel incel, because females can be incels as well. Yes, they can. So anytime a Jezebel incel has that opportunity, when she finally gets that man she's been wanting to conquer in her bedroom, whether if it's her personal residence, whether if it's the Motel 6, whether if it's the back seat of his Jeep in the Waffle House parking lot, she knows this is her only moment. So she has to try to get this in and make it work, especially because whenever you are getting ready to partake in a sexual activity, hormones are running high. Um, you know, lust overtakes common sense. And because it doesn't involve love, no one is taking their time. There's no intimacy. It's very rushed and it's forced. And I don't mean so much in the way of being raped, but forced meaning that both individuals wanna hurry up and get it in, because they are burning on fire as far as lust. And this man made, of course, when a man is getting ready to be intimate with a random female, his only his only objective is releasing himself. And what I mean by releasing himself, he's just focused on busting a nut. It has nothing to do with how she looks, how bad she wants him, doesn't want him, if she's feeling him or not feeling him. When you have two individuals that are coming together doing a lustful deed, a lustful act, he's not thinking about his wife. He's not thinking about his children. He's not thinking about the money he may lose in his bank account. All a man is thinking about is busting a nut. You got to realize men are not natural multitaskers. They cannot do several things at one time. It's just not their gift. It's not their ability. Women by nature, and I've even had men tell me this, that women, we are better multitaskers. Um, so when a man is in the presence of a Jezebel incel, he just wants to get it in because he wants to release himself. That release may be because he's not happy at home, or it may not have nothing to do with his wife, or it may have nothing to do with his personal life. It may have something to do with he's stressed, or he's at a low moment. And in some cases, it's not always stress. You just got some dudes that are very selfish. Any woman that's willing to give them some, they don't turn it down. You just have some men that they have like no control over it. The head downstairs controls everything for them. You have some men that have self-esteem so low they don't have it in them to just turn it down. Or you have some men that's so high sexually demonic that any female, it could be a crackhead off the street, if he knows he can slide it in and get him a little piece and nobody will never know about it, you know, he's going to do that. This is the man that's undisciplined and has allowed lust to basically lead him in all the wrong directions. Okay, then from the female's perspective, When a female is in the presence of a man who she feels has money, who she feels is successful and can she can benefit from, if she just lucks up and is able to conceive and hopefully, you know, conceive a child within the process. She's thinking, not all women, but for the woman that's womb hustling, she's already set out her target. She's already scoped the man out, pretty much analyzed his situation, feel like, okay, I know he got money, okay, I know he has stability, or whatever her personal motives are. But most women who partake in womb hustling, they are looking for men that they feel is financially stable. That's really the main objective. You have some of these females out here, they will get pregnant from bum ass dudes, broke dudes, but that's a different type of situation. That's because they in love, or that's because they're desperate and just want to be wanted and want a relationship. That's a totally different story. But for the Jezebel incel that's womb hustling, she's most of the time scoping out a man who she feels has his sugar honey iced tea together. She's going to seek out a guy. Certain women are on different scales. You got the average bottom Jezebel incel, she's just looking for a paycheck once a month. If it's just, even if it's just $500 to $800, that's a lot for her, especially if she's living in the projects and she has 3 and 4 little JJs and Ray Rays running around. But then you got your upscale Jezebel incels who really go for guys that are on a high bracket, like athletes, entertainers, you know, and executive producers and things of that nature. So those the upscale Jezebel incel, she's gonna go for the top notch, you know, kind of like I said, I gave y'all the 2 examples of Tristan Thompson. We know he's a fuck boy, he's not top notch, but his dollars is top notch. Same thing with Carmelo Anthony. The dollars was top notch. You know, other than that, he might have high value as far as the bank account, but his morals, there was no value there. And it definitely wasn't highly at all. So nevertheless, you get these 2 individuals who agree to partake in this activity amongst them. So he's in it to release himself, and she's in it to make, hoping this dude lacks control with his with his, it's the word, I'm trying to say the appropriate word, but she's hoping he's simple enough to bust a good one and leave it there. That way she can make sure that once he has deposited his sperm into her, sooner or later within 9 months, he's going to also be making check deposits inside of her bank account. So keep that in mind, gentlemen. Maybe this is a good analogy. If you deposit your seed, be prepared to deposit a check in her bank account, because that's definitely what's going to happen. So you have some women that will go either these types of things can happen several ways. Either the man is so, like I said, is so asphyxiated on getting some that he does not wear protection, he does not cover himself, or either he does wear protection but he trusts the fact that she lent him a condom, not understanding she probably poked a hole in it. Or it could have been a situation in which he brought his own condom, wore it correctly, but left it behind in a wastebasket somewhere. Um, or, you know, either he was intoxicated, under the influence, and not being able to utilize his best judgment because he was under some type of influence. Let's face it, a lot of babies have been produced because there was alcohol involved, or there was weed involved, there was some type of alcohol or drug abuse, but it does not condone being irresponsible. When you know you like to drink, you like to get high, you like to smoke, it's very imperative that you don't put yourself in a situation where you end up in somebody else's bedroom, or in the back seat of a Suburban some damn where, and y'all both are going at it. Neither one of y'all know each other like that, and next thing you know, this a child is involved, and you got to deal with this broad because you finding out that she has your kid, and the thing is you don't know nothing about her. It's like the child you have from this broad is like a total stranger to you because y'all didn't have no love, didn't have no connection. And the same thing goes for the female. She not knowing who the hell she had a child from, not knowing his history, not knowing anything about him. It brings a lot of chaos and a lot of confusion because again, whenever you have children that are conceived out of lust instead of love, it does create a lot of problems. And believe it or not, there are thousands, probably even millions of children that are lust babies, And the reason why the child suffers in the midst of it is because neither of the parents really knew each other. There was not a relationship. There was not a solid, genuine foundation. The child was conceived out of lust and out of bucks, lust and bucks. He wants the lust and she wants the bucks. And this is where we end up resorting to. So nevertheless, you got a lot of these women out here that are womb hustling. This is what they do for a living. They're too lazy to go out and get a job. Some of these sisters are uneducated. Some of them may have even dropped out of high school. Some of them probably come from poverty-stricken situations. A lot of these women were not taught any real worth ethics. They didn't have parents that made them, um, you know, get little jobs or do things productive around the house to learn how to build the characteristics of being a real woman. A lot of women who do this, they resort to this type of messy behavior because it has become a source of survival. Womb hustling is I will say this, womb hustling is a broke chick struggle. It's a broke chick hustle. It's a broke chick because any woman that is willing to literally open herself up to a stranger just so she can benefit financially and not even really know anything about the man, not know anything about his family, when all she knows is that he has money. It just shows you her mental psyche, that she's willing to be that pathetic to go so far as to getting pregnant from someone who she feels is financially well off, even though she does not know diddly squat about him. She does not know if this man has mental illness in his family. Does not know if this man is not aware if the man has any type of generational curses in the family that she may not be aware of. You could be having a child from a man that's a rapist. You could be having a child from a man that has alcohol issues. It's all type of different generational curses. And what a lot of women are not understanding is they're playing Russian roulette by womb hustling because you don't know what type of genetics your child may have. You don't know what type of hereditary issues. Believe it or not, when you go to the doctor, that's why they ask you questions about your family. They ask you, does the high blood pressure run in your family? They'll ask you, does hypertension run in your family? They'll ask you all these questions because even medically wise, it is known that there are certain genetics and certain traits that can transfer from generation to generation. And it's not only the hereditary traits that transfer, you also have what's called spiritual transfers, in which you may be having a child from a woman that's mentally ill. If she's not mentally ill, her mother is mentally ill. And sometimes certain spiritual curses, certain hereditary traits, they skip every other generation. Like she may not have it, but because the grandmother had it, now the child you have from her had it. So people don't think that deep when it comes to having children, and it's very imperative because some people got some messed up DNA. I'm telling you, some people got some messed up DNA, and a lot of women, unfortunately, they don't think that far ahead because they're looking at the paycheck. So going back to the main subject at hand, we're going to be basically, we know what womb hustling is, and we know why women do it and all of that, and we know how men get themselves in the type of situation. But I want to talk about how womb hustling brings hardship. So you have many of these women who opt to intentionally go out and seek men who they feel um, are qualified and being potential candidates from them to be able to womb hustle off of. And in many cases, it happens because, again, when lust takes over, common sense goes out the door, and a lot of these women use their hot pocket to their advantage. As much as you have brothers around here, you know, bashing women and disrespecting women and constantly challenging women, but the truth is they're not going to leave women alone. They say all of this and be, you know, and they have all this ego and masculine energy, whatever you want to call it, but a lot of them are not going to leave women alone, especially sexually when it comes to the bedroom. And a lot of these women know it. They know at the end of the day, um, if they just give it up, somebody gonna take it. Even if they look like a werewolf, Wolverine, whatever, they know that ain't too many men gonna turn it down. They know that, and they use it to their advantage. So what ends up happening is these women go so far, they finally got what they wanted out of the deal because a man lacked discipline, or she either was deceitful by lying and saying she was on birth control, you know, by lying and saying she didn't want no more kids, she couldn't have any more children. And it's different if y'all didn't have this conversation, then yeah, you take a chance. But it's one thing when a woman has intentionally sit up there and lied to you and tell you they're taking birth control, or tell you they don't want no more children, and say these things to get a man comfortable and vulnerable to where, okay, he feels comfortable enough to not wear anything. Now, truth be told, I've heard women get upset when I say this. Well, they always say it takes two to tango. Why are you always addressing the women? Why are you always it's like you don't want the men to take accountability. Truth is, both have to take accountability. But if we had to look at percentages, the accountability, 80, I would say 90% of it is on the woman's part, and 10% of it is on the man's part. Both of them are accountable, but I hold the woman more accountable higher because she has the ultimate power at the end of the day. She can go get on something before it even happens. She can go get a plan B, um, to prevent it from um, um, conception. You know, we just have a lot of options. The men don't. The men don't have a lot of options. There's not too many pills they can take and stuff. We got way more options than the men, which in a sense makes us way more accountable because there's so many things that we can do. We got Depo-Provera. You got women who will lie and make up all kind of excuses for why they get on birth control. You have women that will lie and say they can't let a man use condoms because they are allergic to latex. You got women that you got these Jezebel incels that have no limit to how many lies they'll tell and how far they'll go to make a man comfortable with them. And I suggest, as a man, you still protect yourself, still protect your penis. I don't care if y'all been knowing each other forever, because never know when a woman is going to get desperate. And when a woman gets desperate, she takes desperate measures. You don't know how far she's going to go when she really gets desperate. And you could be part of the strategy and not even know it, and sleeping with this woman and thinking because all these years you've been smashing it raw, nothing ever happened, this would be the one time she makes sure it does. She'll stop taking her birth control behind her back, you know, just anything, and then you caught off guard thinking that everything is good. So anyway, you gotta be careful with that. But the hardships that come with it. So once she has accomplished the baby, having the child. Next, she has accomplished getting the income. She's taken you to court. The judge has ordered you to pay 2,000 a month, however much you got to pay. So now here it is. It's called dick debt. Dick debt. Anytime a man puts his dick in the wrong woman, he creates dick debt. Um, he has to pay for a child from a woman he did not love, a woman he did not treasure, a woman he did not plan on building the future with. And here it is. So he's pretty much getting a raw deal at this point, because the next equation to this is that she's going to make this man's life miserable eventually, because she's not prepared for the hardships. And what I mean by hardships, I'm not just talking about financially. We know she got the check. We know she's getting her income, her child support, her food stamps, whatever. We know that she's sitting good. But what tends to happen to a lot of women who put themselves in this situation, even if they're getting a paycheck, when the hardships of parenting becomes too much to bear, because babies, children are a huge responsibility. And the responsibility is even heavier when you don't have a reliable parent to help you to share the burdens. And what tends to happen is when you have these women who womb hustle, 90% of the time, the fathers don't normally cooperate. Now, is it right or wrong? Yes and no. Yes, as in, it's not fair to the child, but no, as in, as a grown woman, she knew she needed to take precaution, and she intentionally did not. At the end of the day, I'm not blaming no man for what happens to my body. Unless he raped me or held me by gunpoint or something, I'm not going to sit up here where it was the two of us. When I had the initial power to prevent it to begin with, way before me and him even hooked up and got together. So what tends to happen, these women start feeling the funk, and they realize the checks, the dollar does not take the place of the father. I'll repeat that again. Over time, once they get used to these checks hitting their bank account, once they get used to having that title of, okay, so and so is my baby daddy, Carmelo Anthony is my baby daddy, Martell Holt is my baby daddy. Once they get used to um, the position they have, eventually it gets stale. Just having the notoriety of being a baby mama is not enough. Secondly, as I stated, the money is not enough now, because you're realizing there's things that you have to go through as a single parent that you would have not had to go through had you been married or had this child been conceived in a relationship instead of a hardship. And that's where a lot of these Jezebel incels are ruining themselves, because they are intentionally having children not out of relationships but out of hardships, because they struggling, or the kids they have are getting older. They know they don't have much time. Child support is getting ready to run out. So they have to find a male incel that's not going to protect his dick and basically leave himself vulnerable and open to himself being easy bait. So again, after she has accomplished all this, she starts to feel the funk, because she realizes, yes, I have a baby daddy that's giving me all this money, and my child ain't wanting for nothing, but my child is wanting for a father. Because what some women don't understand is, when you play stupid games, you end up with stupid prizes. Now, this is not to get the men off the hook, because I know it's going to be a Kiki or a Keisha that's going to come in the chat room where it sounds like you defending the men and all this and that. I ain't got time for all that. Just don't even watch the rest of my video. Just go to a divester so she can tell you how all black men ain't shit or whatever, and tell you what you want to hear so you can feel better about yourself. So anyway, she realizes the hardships, and now this is when she starts becoming toxic. One prime example was when Carmelo Anthony's wife, Lala Anthony, when she left, she finally divorced him. I guess she got to a point to where, okay, one time I could have probably forgave that. Another female coming out with twins, and that probably was her breaking point. Can't blame her at all. Um, The first baby mama thought for sure, once Lala got out the way, that she had an opportunity, only to find out he still did not give her that opportunity, and he still will not acknowledge her child. See, at first it was cute just being a Carmelo Anthony's baby mama. But what was starting to kill her, and I think is still triggering her to this day, she wants Carmelo Anthony to parade her child around like a trophy prize. After she's accomplished the money, I mean the baby and the money and this little Instagram mediocre fame, because a couple of people found out about her and got to see who she was. Other than that, she really didn't get much notoriety or anything major from it. And that's when it dawned on her she wanted something more meaningful than being the baby just being the baby mama, and just being the beneficiary as far as getting all the checks and stuff for the child. She still was unhappy. She went on these rants on Instagram. She went on these rants on I think another one called Twitter, trying everything she can to get his attention. And because of his own stubbornness, and I think in a sense he probably felt some embarrassment, whatever was going through his mind, he just does not really want to accept that child. Now, I ain't saying it's right, I ain't saying it's wrong, but when you do things the wrong way, 9 times out of 10 the results are going to be wrong. And you just have a lot of women out here that are very delusional. They think that once they have a child, no matter how fucked up the circumstances were and how that child got conceived, they feel the child should be accepted and valued and appreciated no matter what. But you as a woman, you should have made sure your child before it got here was valued by choosing a man you knew just wasn't a star, just it wasn't about having checks or whatever, but a man who sincerely loved you and wanted to have a family with you. We play these games, but then we want to play the victim. And then when we have sisters such as myself or Dee Dee calling sisters out that are doing this, they get angry because they feel like we should be making the men accountable. And I do hold the man accountable, but I hold the man accountable to a certain percentage. I hold him accountable to 10%. The other 90% is on the woman, because we have so many choices. Men do not have the choices we have when it comes to being able to protect themselves. You know what I'm saying? So the hardships starts to bite these women in the ass, because now they finding out, okay, so and so it has her first pre-K. She's taking her kids to school. She's taking her celebrity love child to school, celebrity side chick baby, whatever, and seeing all the other dads are with the mothers dropping the kids off. Seeing some of the dads are coming on their own and bringing the kids there. As a woman, it really starts to wither and eat you up like cancer when reality sinks in that yes, I'm getting the money, yes, I have the billionaire baby or whatever, but I'm on my own. I'm looking at this child that looks just like this man, and I realize that maybe he's punishing me due to the fact that I was able to control his life once I had this baby by making him pay me. And maybe he's trying to punish me by not having nothing to do with it and leaving it all on me. See, this is what happens when you have two negligent, selfish, horny individuals who get together. When things like this happen, people get very selfish, and it's the child who suffers in the process of it. So you have some of these men, and I ain't saying it's right, I ain't saying it's wrong. They do not want to be involved with these women who have womb hustled them, even though it was also at their fault of their own, because as men, you got to protect yourself. But at the end of the day, once a man realizes, this was not a mutual thing, and you tricked him, you swindled him, you lied to him, or you did something shady, because sometimes men are too embarrassed to say how they got. It's been men who knew they wore condoms, knew they did everything right, and they was too embarrassed to even tell the truth and say what really happened. Like, I left my condom there. or she gave me a condom out the drawer. I didn't know she poked a hole in it. A lot of men have got and they protected themselves. And I'm not just talking about married men. I'm talking about men in general, even single men. To only find out when they check their mailbox a couple of months down the road that they may have to be blood tested, and they looking baffled like a deer in the headlight, because some of these Jezebel incel females have no limit to how far they will go, and especially if he's been dealing with her for a long time, eventually he's going to get comfortable. You smash a chick for more than a month, you're not going to cross all your T's and dot all your I's but so much. So that just comes to territory. So they find out the hardships when they realize the presence is more important than the presence. Oh, did y'all catch that one? A lot of these women, these womb hustling females, start to realize the presence don't outweigh the presence of the father. Other words, she's been getting the child support where she can give the child all the gifts and everything that child wants. But now that she has conquered that, she wants the man to be involved. And in many cases, these men intentionally, I ain't saying it's right, but it is what it is. They intentionally leave the female incel, they leave the baby mama in the dust intentionally on purpose, because he realized she had got a lot of joy out of being able to take him to courts, rip him in half, and get him to pay lawyer fees, this and that, blah 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 the third. So now he's going to use this as his moment to basically not give a damn. Okay, you want to play dirty? And I know a lot of you women, that's wrong. That's not right. It takes two of us to make a child. Why? That he shouldn't be mistreating his child because we both did this. But just like a man can't choose for you, he couldn't force you to get an abortion. He couldn't force you to give the child up for adoption. He couldn't force you to give the child to him so he could take care of it. Just like he couldn't force you to do what he wanted. Guess what? It goes both ways, ladies. You cannot force them to do what you want. And it amazes me, you have a lot of these females, they brain damage because they play these games, and they take some of these dudes through all kind of hell and back, and once they done got the money and got the baby mama package, the child support, um the life of luxury in the 2022 um Acura or whatever. um Now that they have pretty much gotten everything they wanted, they still feel a sense of entitlement. Now they not only want the man money, not only they got the man child, but now they want the man to also privilege them for their Jezebel incel behavior. They want this man to come around and see this child, and they have family gatherings together. They want this man to bring the child around to his family, because these females realizing the money ain't everything. They see that a child's father, even if he's a famous guy, he's traveling all over the world, he's all on the red carpet, but he ain't saying nothing about this child. He's not addressing this child. Just on an average scale, you have a lot of these female incels who realize they bit off more than they could chew. And because they call themselves trying to punish the man and torment the man by intentionally getting pregnant, by whatever deceitful means they use, and now that they're getting the money, um, they realize it's not all of what it's cracked up to be. The hardships start coming in. Children get older. They ask questions. Where's my dad? Who's my dad? Why I never see him? Why he never comes around? How come my other brothers and sisters, they daddy come? I don't ever see my daddy. And I notice, and a lot of women aren't going to admit this, but this is when women really start to rebel. the womb hustling woman starts to rebel when the child starts asking questions about the father, because at this point in time she don't want to take accountability and tell that child the real deal. Well, mama was looking for a come up, and I made this dude be comfortable with me, lied to him, made him think, I was on birth control, or I was a drunk slut. I always, never had no control over my liquor. I let any nigga smash. A few dudes ran a train on me. I really didn't know who the father was. I had to go on Maury Povich and let 6 guys get tested, by the time I figured out who your father was. When the child is old enough and has common sense to start asking questions, this is when the womb hustling woman starts to rebel. She's stalking the child's father. She's harassing him. Now, this is on top of him sending the money every month. This is on top of her, the fact that she wanted to get pregnant from this baller, or she wanted to get pregnant from this married man. She knew what she signed up for, but she had to go and seal that deal so she can get that womb hustling approval contract for 18 years. And now that this child is asking questions, she wants this man to step in so she doesn't look like the bad guy, so she doesn't look like the irresponsible villain that she is. And when it ain't saying it's right or wrong, but because she tried to punish him through the courts, now he's punishing her back by not having any involvement with the child. Y'all can say it's wrong or right, but guess what? Just like he couldn't make her do a damn thing, she couldn't make him do a damn thing either. So both of them basically take an L. And all the simple empathy, sympathy things women try to use, but it's not right. It's not the child's fault, and it's not. I agree, but you're not going to force and make that man do what you want him to do. Now that you tired, or now that you feeling the burdens because this child is asking questions, and you too embarrassed to say the real deal. So in instances like that, she's going to rebel, or she's either going to lie and manipulate the child and make the child believe that the father is the bad guy. But what I notice is children, as they get older, they end up figuring out what parent had the most corrupt motives. You can fool children for a little while, and I know women, we think we have the power, and in some cases we do. We're able to influence a lot of our kids, and not have to own our accountability because we have the children, so that gives us a big advantage. But eventually karma makes its way, and sooner or later the truth is going to reveal itself. No matter how much you lie and try to cover up your part, it's going to come out. So it's when these hardships come. When the womb hustler brings hardships, these children get sick, you want to call this man just so he can be there and support you, and he won't. You were so eager for the check, and now he won't give you no respect. That's what you wanted. You wanted the notoriety of having that baby from an athlete, a CEO, a married man. You wanted that because you thought that was your jackpot. You thought you hit the jackpot. Now that you done got accustomed to the money, you done got accustomed to living nice, that's not enough. Christmas coming up, he's not showing up. Birthdays, he's not showing up, but you got that check in the bank. The child gets the best birthday parties, the best decorations, but you realize the hardship that don't mean anything to you when your family constantly coming around and this man is nowhere in the picture to even come in, and the child could smile knowing her dad came to celebrate her birthday, or knowing his dad came to celebrate his birthday, because you have to look at your initial motives. It was about womb hustling. You just want to have a child, not a family. You just wanted some dick, not a husband. Now, after the fact, now you accomplish your womb hustling, you see the benefits ain't outweighing the loss. Because in this situation, y'all, And again, I know it's gonna be sisters in the chat room. That ain't right. It's wrong. The child don't deserve. I know women think they can use kids as an excuse to get a pass on a lot of stuff. And I'm just not one of them sisters. I'm not about to even like co-sign with that. But to me, it's fair game. You manipulate, you use manipulative means to get a child in this world. You don't get to pick and choose if that man wants to still deal with that child or not. If he does, then you just one of the ones that got lucky. If he doesn't, you can't go walking around here toting this badge of honorary of all black men ain't shit because you chose that. You did not know this dude. Y'all was not in a relationship. Y'all did not have nothing fulfilling. You wanted to come up. Now that you done got used to the come up and you seeing other women who got husbands, who got families, and seeing the fathers are coming around and being involved, coming to the birthday parties, coming to the parent meetings, going with you to the doctor's appointments. Now you realize what's really important. Your child asking questions. And you can't tell them nothing but other than show them a picture of how he look all on Facebook or something. But you become embarrassed. You go around your family know how that child got there. They may not say anything, but they know the deal. Womb hustling does have the tendency to backfire sometimes. And as a woman, you just got to be very careful and think further past the future. Think about it. Okay, yes, this man has a lot of money. I know if I get knocked up from him, I'm secure from life. But do I really want that? Do I want to secure the bag or do I want to secure a family, build a foundation before I'm more concerned with building a bank account? I'm honestly speaking, a lot of these dudes ain't saying it's right or wrong. That's your choice to decide that. But a lot of these dudes are walking away because they know they basically became the product, they became an unforeseen customer of womb hustling. And you know, some of these women get mad and they get angry and they tell a man that. That's why I only got pregnant from you for the money anyway. You got some females, female incels that are just that ignorant and evil. They will tell men, yeah, I trapped you. Yeah, I did that. I stopped taking my birth control and what? Knowing he wouldn't have been able to do nothing about it because she reneged on an agreement that they both had already established. But anyway, I'm gonna get ready to shut it down. I want to know y'all opinion about this womb hustling. Again, women play these games when it get hard. These children get older, they have behavioral issues. Now they realize the importance, the significance of having a father instead of focusing on a dollar. And what a lot of women have to realize, you got to pick and choose your battles. You don't get to have it all. You can't maliciously have a child and after y'all already made an agreement and you reneged and you went on your word and now you want him to still be a stand-up dude no matter what the hell you did wrong, no matter how much you lied and manipulated. You want to use the child as a reason for him to be a straight up a straight up stand up man, even though you didn't stand up as a one man to your responsibilities. You didn't hold down a deal. And females play this game all the time. They intentionally do shit, play victim, but want the man to be a stand up dude. Even though I lied, even though I didn't use my birth control, even though I didn't take preventive measures, I still want you to be 100% dad. And these are the ones that are called men deadbeats. They'll call men deadbeats, but they will not be honest and say the initial occurrence of the fact that she did not take her birth control or she lied and made him think she was going to get an abortion and he gave her the money for it and she changed her mind. This is, you know, when they make this type of agreement. Now, a woman is able to twist and renege and go back on her word and have a child, and no matter what, the man's supposed to be a stand-up man. That may be true, but guess what? At the end of the day, he can choose not to be a stand-up dad. And guess what? You can't do no more about it. Then he couldn't do no more about it than you using the baby as a cash as a cash register. So guess what? Both of you take L's. So don't be so consumed on the money and securing the bag that you're not thinking about in the future. Your child, you rather your child have that the blessing of a man who loves you and treasures you and wants to be by your side, wants to be there with you every day under the same household with you and your child. That way that child will have the blessings of both of their parents. Don't be one of those type of females that you only want to strive to have a child instead of a family, because at some point in time it's going to take a toll on you as a mother when you realize you put yourself in a position in which you got to do it all by yourself. Yes, he's sending checks, yeah, he's providing, but because he's in his feelings, he don't feel like he has to do anything else, and it leaves the burden on you. So we can go back and forth all night about who's wrong and who right. As far as I'm concerned, the way this generation is, they don't is there's no they've done away with the who what's right and what's wrong. People just doing what the hell they want to do. So for all the women that feel some type of way, where we had this child together, it don't matter how it got here, we supposed to be on the same accord. Well, guess what? You can't make these men do no more than they can make you do either. And that's just the bottom line. Make sure you do things the right way from the beginning, and you won't have any of these issues. So anyway, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. It's your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha. Represent Mocha's Cafe de Padres, while I'm serving wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. Anybody who wants to buy my tumblers, please email me at cafedeparis.com. I know it's football season. Yes, I have every football team tumbler you can think of. I can customize them. I can add your name, whatever you choose. I still got my hair oils and my beard oil that I'm selling for $10 a bottle. And I still have my cable 9,000 channels for only $25 a month. So if you're interested in any of those things, please email me, and I will be glad to assist you. Y'all have a good night. Be blessed.